For the next 30 minutes, we will explore the unexplained. From mysteries beyond our galaxy to ghostly phenomena in our own backyard, we will dive into our psychic abilities and explore everything from conspiracies to the just plain weird. Welcome to 30-odd minutes. If the truth is out there, we will find it. But only by sheer accident.
Here's Jeffrey. Don't call me that ever. Welcome back to 30-odd minutes. We missed you. How have you been?
All right.
All right? Just all right? My gosh, it's been a while. Welcome back to 30-odd minutes. Brand new studio, brand new HD cameras. We're going to do all we can to get through this without totally messing everything up. So please be gentle. Sarah and Rob are with us if you're watching live in the chat room, 30oddminutes.com. Look at that, huh? Woohoo! Relax, folks. So Sarah and Rob are there. You guys been good? Everything all right?
Oh, so good.
So good?
So good.
So good, so good.
All right. So we want you to keep sending us your emails, info@30oddminutes.com. Send us your clips and all that other fun stuff. We're going to be getting to it real soon. Today we're coming to you live. Behind me you can see clearly the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. If you've watched any paranormal show ever, you've probably seen an investigation of it. It's been on countless television shows. I was there very recently. I've been there several times, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But first, we did get some emails in our brief hiatus. Sarah, what do our viewers want to know?
We did. So we are missed after all. So this one was really cute. It says, hey, it's been forever since there was a new episode of 30 Odd. My mom and I are going on withdrawals over here. It's cold, it's great, and we need to laugh. Please come back to us. We love and miss you, oddballs. From Stacy Linden in Arizona. Thanks, Stacy.
Yeah.
We missed you too. Trust me.
We did. Thank you, Stacy. Thanks for emailing us. Hey, we know you folks don't have a lot of time. And if you know me at all, you know I've spent a lot of time in prison this year. I did. That's true. I've been in Eastern State and Mansfield Reformatory and an old jail in Virginia City, Nevada.
You weren't doing time, were you?
I think I've done more time this year than Lindsay Lohan, actually. Ooh. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry, it's all I got. But anyway, while in prison, we sometimes run into interesting people and ask them just one question. Check this out.
One question interview.
We're here with Aaron Goodwin, one of the stars of the Ghost Adventure show on the Travel Channel. Aaron, this is your one question interview.
Right.
This is a bar of soap. Would you pick it up for me?
Hell no.
Okay.
What a guy. Thank you, Aaron Goodwin. Yeah, what a guy, what a guy. All right, very good. Okay, the Stanley Hotel. This is a 101-year-old building, goes all the way back, that many years. The story starts with a guy named F.O. Stanley. Here he is. Check him out. Not yet. We're still trying to figure out the new system. Woohoo! There he is in the corner. He should be centered. What are you going to do? Give us a break. F.O. Stanley is a New England guy. He invented the Stanley Steamer automobile, took it out west because he loved the dry mountain air, thought it would help his health. But he missed the lap of luxury. All right, cut that out because it just looks awful in the corner. We're going to get through this. So he brought the lap of luxury out to Estes Park, Colorado. And now we've got this storied history. Of course, probably the most famous thing that the Stanley Hotel is known for is being the inspiration for Stephen King's The Shining. He wrote it in room 217. And we're going to be talking about that as well. But the ghost stories go back quite a ways. And we've got such a great guest to talk about all of this history tonight. Callea Seck has been a resident paranormal investigator at the Stanley Hotel for almost 2 years. As a teenager, she grew up in a house with unexplained activity, and she's been investigating the paranormal, hunting for ghosts, and even tripping on a few legends for 5 years now, all across the country. You've seen her on Ghost Adventures on the Travel Channel. You've heard her on many radio shows. And tonight, she's all yours, oddballs, giving us a tour of the famous and haunted hotel, live from Estes Park, Colorado. Please welcome Callea Seck. Yeah! Whoa, my goodness. Callea, how are you? Oh, is the audio up? Not yet. We're working on it. Callea, how are you now?
Hi, guys.
Yay, there she is. Woo, we're figuring all this out. Thank you so much for being our first victim in the new studio.
Hey, no problem.
Very good. So how have you been? I haven't seen you in almost 48 hours.
It has been a really long time, Jeff. I almost don't recognize you. I'm doing great. I finally got some sleep. Life is good.
Right. Callie and I were together this weekend. We did a great event there, a live ghost hunt, 2 nights, a whole paranormal conference. It was a lot of fun. These things always are. And we knew this would just be... my goal tonight with this show is to bring you guys what it feels like to go through the Stanley. We're going to do that with Callie, who is the ghost expert of the building for sure. Before we get too far into it, Callie, what happened to you as a kid in your haunted home?
Well, I grew up in a house that wasn't actually all that old, but I would hear footsteps walking up and down the hallway. TVs would go on and off. My light would go on and off. There was just all kinds of different stuff that happened. A lot of it seemed to be almost like a poltergeist type thing where my mom would report actually hearing parties going on in the house when I was not even there, that type of stuff.
Right on. And so your second paranormal experience actually happened at the Stanley Hotel, correct?
Absolutely. It's what got me addicted.
What happened?
If you had asked me as a kid would I want to grow up and do this for fun, my answer would have been absolutely not. But I was at the Stanley Hotel, and it was with a couple of guys that you may have heard of, Jason and Grant, and I was in the basement in Lucy's room when a chair actually flipped over on its own into the middle of the room. And to tell you the truth, it scared me to death. And I'm surprised that I didn't just run out screaming. But the fact that I just sat there and got my wits about me and realized that, you know what, nothing hurt me. It was okay. And by the way, it was pretty darn cool.
Yeah, no, it is really cool. It's an amazing life-altering experience, especially when you go looking for this stuff. And the Stanley Hotel, of course, seems completely full of these various stories. So let's talk about what are some of the earliest reports. We know Stephen King wrote The Shining there. Everyone knows it. If you stay at the Stanley Hotel, they actually play The Shining 24/7 on TV, so you can jump in at any time. But what are some of the earliest accounts of ghost activity there?
Well, actually, the earliest accounts of ghost activity took place when the hotel first opened. Our former landowner, Lord Dunraven, who left the valley before the hotel ever even opened, actually would haunt room 401 where the nannies would hang out it was their lounge. And so they were the first ones to actually report haunting activity, little pinching and pulling and tugging. So.
Interesting. So by the time Stephen King gets there, what year was he there for The Shining?
1974.
74. Good year. Good year. I was born that year. Just gave away my age. I expect birthday cards, everyone. Fair enough. Okay, so, but as time goes on, this becomes a real paranormal hotspot. Now, the original movie was not filmed there, right? It was actually filmed in 3 different hotels and a sound stage, and, the exterior was one hotel. But the movie miniseries that Stephen King actually has a cameo in was filmed at the Stanley, correct?
That's correct. And in fact, the fact that Stephen King, the reason that he's not in a cameo role in the actual movie version is because he was so mad at Stanley Kubrick for not filming at the Stanley Hotel that he refused to be in the movie.
Oh, man. Geez, and that's funny because he's usually in all his movies. So first, people have to realize, too, the views from this place, you have to check this out. I mean, when you sit on the front deck, these are my shoes, looking out from that very porch that you see behind me. It's an amazing view. Look at that, the Rocky Mountains, Rocky Mountain National Park, right up there over the hills. You can be walking around the grounds. Elk walk right up. They poop all over the place. But the staff are very quick to clean it up. Not quick enough, though. I think I brought some home. Well done, though, guys.
That's
good try.
not my job.
That's not right. It's totally not Callie's job. Not her fault at all. So it really is an amazing place. Let's start with some of the outbuildings. Let's start with the concert hall, which I said it right for once. Huh?
I'm amazed. I'm impressed, actually.
I know. I wrote big block letters, say concert hall, not music hall. So there it is from the outside. Now, this building was it was built around the same time as the hotel, and in fact, this is a great bit of trivia. John Philip Sousa opened the building on July 4th, 1909. And since then, what became of it?
Well, the concert hall was actually boarded up for quite some time, for almost 30 years. And during that time, apparently, we gained a new resident. Her name was Lucy. She moved into the concert hall after an argument with her parents. And when they decided that it was time to renovate the concert hall and get it open again, They went downstairs into the basement and they found Lucy living in the basement. Now, they asked her to leave. She was no longer able to live at the Stanley Hotel. So she left. We weren't sure what happened to her until later that winter. They found her frozen to death in the town of Estes Park.
Wow. And she's believed to be still haunting that building today?
Oh, yeah, she's come back, and she tells us it's because that's where she was safe, warm, and happy.
Wow, very cool. Callie, we do have a question for you in our chat room. Sarah,
Okay.
Rob, Sarah?
Hey, Callie, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent, excellent. We have a question from Ben Griesmeyer. I think that's how you say it.
Hi, Ben.
Oh,
hey,
you know him?
Ben.
Oh, that's interesting. If
I
there
do.
was one thing that could make your job even better, what would it be?
What would make your job even better? Good question.
Well, I'm honestly not sure that my job could be any better. I have the best job in the world. Every time, though, I think it can't get cooler, it does. And look at me now, I'm on 30-odd minutes, so there we go.
You know the sad thing, though? It's like, it's downhill from here. Where do you go once you've been on...
Beer.
That's right. You could be joining us for a beer afterwards, which actually you probably are, just not physically where we are. But that's okay. We don't judge anything. So, all right, yeah, it is an amazing job. It's so cool to be able to do the paranormal for a living, especially in a building. I've been saying for years, it's great when paranormal investigators have investigated 100 different places. That's certainly interesting. But to me, what's even more interesting is when you've investigated one place 100 different times, because then you really know the building. You know the difference between the creak in the floor, you know exactly where it creaks, you know where the heating pipes are when they tick in the wall, all of that fun stuff. So hats off to you for being able to look into this place again and again for years. Now, evidence has been collected, of course, throughout this building, and in the concert hall, we got this really interesting clip. Let's play it, and then we'll talk about it. Good luck, Andy. He's the best. We're trying.
Press harder.
Press harder. Welcome to our new studio. It's frozen. All right. We're going to keep working on it, and he's going to yell when it's ready. But no,
Turn the dial.
no worries. People are collecting EVP from all around the building, especially in the concert hall. And you sent us something. Is it ready? All right, we're going to try again. Let's roll it. Oh, very good. One question of EVP. Did I mention we're in a whole new studio with all kinds of things that can go wrong again and again? Man, oh man.
Crazy digital stuff.
All right, so let's talk about some of the evidence that people are getting, especially in the concert hall. It has since been refurbished. It's beautiful inside. It's not just a boarded up refuge for homeless people anymore. What are some of the things people are getting in there?
Well, probably two of the most common things that happen. There is a door that's down in the basement that if you push it fully open, it's very difficult to close, but that door will actually close on its own. And oftentimes we'll be sitting downstairs and hear very clear footsteps above us on the wooden dance floor above, and there's no one else in the building with us.
Right, okay. And I know I spoke to one person there this weekend, Connor, if you're watching, hello. He was talking about seeing apparitions moving around on the stage. This is a building it's very quiet and still, and especially at night, we got to go there quite late in the evening. And, you can imagine, you just sit there, you can really soak that building in, and he's seen an apparition moving about around the stage area. So quite active, I guess.
Absolutely. And in fact, there's an apparition that I've seen that comes halfway up the back staircase that leads from the basement to the main floor. And I have seen that more than once.
What's it look like?
He just comes halfway up the stairs, looks around, and then turns around and disappears.
So it's a he, so not Lucy, right?
No, I'm pretty sure that that's probably Paul, who is our maintenance man. Paul worked there for 10 years. He passed away in 2005, but he is still working there. Don't get me wrong.
Very good. Staying true to the job even after death. All right, let's talk about one of the other outbuildings, the carriage house, which is condemned and boarded up. You can see a picture of it here in a moment. This is one of the buildings right near the concert hall, and originally was built in order to service the Stanley Steamers and the carriages. There it is. That's the outside of the carriage house. You can see it's all boarded up. If we were a little closer, you'd see all the no trespassing signs because it's condemned. And if you look inside here, check it out. You can see that's one of the old artifacts, an old carriage that's still in there. And then You can keep looking around. You can. I mean, it's not safe to walk. Clearly, it's condemned. But we know people, so we get in, right, Callie? I mean, that's how it works.
That's right.
Now, the first time I was in there with Callie, I was actually doing a scout video for a TV show I can't mention, but if you know me, you know which one it is. And while we were there, we hear this giant thud behind us, and you turn around, you see nothing. We know we're the only two people in the building, and we know what the wind does. Really crazy stuff. But we actually have a video clip that we're going to keep our fingers crossed if it can actually play. No? Great. All right. You want to try, or are we just going to skip over it? All right. Callie, tell us what happened to you, your most profound experience in the carriage house.
Well, the good news is, since the video clip is of me, I can actually just tell you live.
That's right. It'll look like this, but you're there and not in the carriage house.
Exactly. I walked into the concert hall. I was with a couple of other investigators, and as I walked in, excuse me, the carriage house.
Right,
I was
no
on the
problem.
concert hall, wasn't I? I was in the carriage house, and I walked in, and I actually felt something grab me around the elbows very hard. And the strange thing is, oftentimes when you get touched by a ghost, it feels very cold. But in this case, it was extremely hot. And it was like someone had walked up in front of me and grabbed my arms and wanted to shake me to get my attention. It was pretty intense, actually.
And did anything happen after that? Was it just that one experience?
Well, I've had dozens of minor
I mean, in the carriage house.
experiences
That particular night, was the last thing that happened and it was over?
Well, no, we went to sit down, and we sat down for a little bit, and we were kind of calling out to the different spirits in there, and we heard a huge crash that came from farther back in the building. We don't know where it came from, what it was, what caused it, but something wasn't happy with us being in there.
Yeah, no, and it's creepy in there. And when you walk in, there's some old mattresses that were once used in the hotel, and I guess some sad things happened on those mattresses, right? I mean, people do die in the hotel once in a while. Sometimes, heart attacks or whatever, sometimes by their own hand. And
well, let me just clarify that the mattresses that were seen on the episode we can't mention,
right?
Only one of those mattresses actually had an incident where someone did pass away. The rest of the mattresses were just worn out mattresses from the
Gotcha.
Rooms. So,
well, one's
just
enough,
to clear
quite
that.
frankly. One's plenty. No, okay, understood. All right, well, let's move into the building now. Below the building, there's these tunnels that are used for the employees. We actually have a photo or two of them. And these tunnels, I guess, have been there pretty much since the beginning. And we're trying to bring them up right now. They're getting through this. There it is. There's the employee tunnels. Lots of rock down there. What happened? There was a tragic event down here, correct?
There was. Back in, I believe it was 1911, the tunnel was used to actually bring construction materials from one of the old dorm buildings, which is out back of the hotel. And they would bring it in the winter from there to the main hotel as they were constructing the hotel, or finishing the construction, I should say. And one of the construction workers was actually crushed in an accident when the tunnel caved in.
Oh, gosh. And so what kind of things are people reporting down there?
Well, for myself, I do the ghost hunts late at night, and I'm there till 1, 2 in the morning oftentimes. And I have to go clock out, walk down that tunnel all by myself. And, I never hear this during the day, but at night, there almost always seems to be a set of footsteps that follows me down the hallway.
Wow, and that's a regular thing. And I know people have reported hearing voices down there, things like that. Very active.
Yeah,
Okay.
all kinds of weird things happen down there. It's an interesting place for sure.
Right. Understood. Hey, you know what? We were able to get that EVP video from the concert hall, so I let's play it. We want people to hear this. You got it? Let's roll it. Let's play it again because we forgot the audio. Yeah. Okay. See, now that's a pretty eerie clip. This was taken in the concert hall. You can hear the singing voice back there, and pretty amazing. Now, was this heard audibly, or was this only recorded on the digital recorder?
It was only recorded on the digital recorder, and ironically, there was actually a video camera sitting right next to that digital recorder, and it did not capture that singing. And as you can tell, the singing is louder than the investigators' voices.
Yeah.
So how did it not end up on the video camera? I have no idea.
That's really, I mean, that's a haunting voice too. I mean, I was listening to it earlier today, and it's a little spooky, especially when you put it in the context of the dark concert hall only showing up on audio. Ugh. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Cool stuff. Callie, we do have another question for you in our chat room. Sarah, please tell us.
Yeah, so funny you mentioned if Connor was watching or not, because he is, and he wanted to know, yay, Connor! He wants to know if Callie believes that Lucy is a residual or an intelligent spirit.
Good question. Lucy, residual or intelligent? Go.
Nice question, Connor. I definitely believe that Lucy is an intelligent, or I prefer to use the term an interactive haunting.
Okay.
To be intelligent, that kind of implies there's dumb ghosts too.
There are.
But yeah, I do believe that she is an interactive spirit. She's not just residual because we hear her voice. She messes with us. She will touch people. She lets people know that she's there on a regular basis.
Yeah, no, and I know when we were there this weekend, people were very eager to go down there and try to communicate with her. They were using all kinds of gadgets, K2 meters, all kinds of things like that to try to bridge that gap. All right, so let's get back to the main hotel and talk about some of these haunted rooms. The most famous, of course, room 217, where Stephen King wrote The Shining, was inspired. We have a great photo. I mean, this is really riveting. If you've seen the movie The Shining, then this will have a lot more meaning to you. Hey, look at that. Down in the corner, too. Arr. That's the prop door that you have there. But in the real room 217, legitimately haunted, correct? Not just where Stephen King wrote the book. What happened there before?
Absolutely. And basically, a maid, Mrs. Wilson, was injured in an explosion in 1912. Now, she didn't die in the explosion, but Mr. Stanley treated her so well after the explosion. In fact, he gave her a job for life and full retirement benefits, that we believe that she is still taking care of our guests today in room 217. And people will report actually seeing a shadow come right straight through the wall. She also likes to pace back and forth in the room. And in fact, Jim Carrey was there filming Dumb and Dumber, and he checked into room 217, but he only lasted halfway through the first night. And we believe he probably just ran into Mrs. Wilson.
I forgot to mention earlier, Dumb and Dumber was actually, parts of it were actually filmed there. The scene where the carriage rolls up and they step out in those funny tuxedos, that's right at the front steps. And when he comes down the main stairway, there's a few scenes that were actually filmed of Dumb and Dumber, which is, that's what great dichotomy, right? Dumb and Dumber, The Shining. It's all there at the Stanley.
In fact, Jeff, you're standing right about where they arrived in the Lamborghini.
That's right back behind me here, which is it's remarkably bright and warm for being here in in the middle of the fall. Okay, so what about some of the other haunted rooms? What's Lord Dunraven's room?
Lord Dunraven's room is room 401.
Okay.
Now, that's the one that I was telling you about that probably has the longest history of haunting activity. That used to be the Nanny's Lounge. And when they would be up there, they actually reported being tugged on, pinched, pulled. But today, he seems to like to hang out in the closet. Don't ask me why. But the closet door will just open and close on its own. It's a pretty interesting room.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, I guess he's either not fond of women or too fond. I mean, what were you saying over the weekend?
Well, I don't know if you want me to say that.
Yeah, say it. Come on. We'll censor it later. Just don't swear.
I think he's a little bit of a pervert. I really do.
Okay.
He doesn't love women, but he is definitely fond of women and their assets.
Yes, they've been pinched, I understand, quite a bit. And the funny thing about a ghost conference, when you've got 150, 200 people that are there, I don't know what it is, but some people so badly want to be molested, pinched, touched, and pushed by ghosts. We had women in that room offering themselves up should he want to pinch, which is nice of them, I guess. But did he get any takers this weekend? I wasn't in the room the whole time.
Not that I'm aware of, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. The jury's still out this weekend.
Okay, fair enough. And so, what about other parts of the hotel? What are some of the other haunted rooms?
Well, we have room 418, which is said to be our most haunted room. In my opinion, I don't know if that's true, but that's what it is said. Room 418 is supposed to be haunted by a little boy named Matthew, who likes to come in and play with you when you're trying to sleep. We've got room 1302 over in the Manor House.
Yep.
1302, of course, has quite a bit of activity, which is more related to the bachelors who would live in that building. And then my personal favorite, which is back in the main building, room 407.
Now, think about this. How many people are coming to the Stanley? I know the Stanley runs ghost tours all day long, every day. And like I said in the beginning of the show, everybody knows about the Stanley. They know about the hauntings. It's been on every paranormal program. I mean, you may not be able to give an exact number. How many people are coming there, percentage-wise, your best guess, because of the ghosts?
I would say probably 75 to 80% are coming for one reason or another for the ghosts, not necessarily to always hunt for ghosts or do an investigation, but the reason that they want to come there is because it's haunted, including our brides and the people who schedule corporate events. It's because it's famously haunted.
And so when you know it's haunted, when you've seen it on all these shows and you know about room 217 and 418 and 1305 and all the rooms that keep coming up again and again, so I know guests are requesting these rooms quite a bit, say, hey, I have to be at the Stanley, I want to stay in those rooms. Do you think that has something to do with the fact that they're having experiences? Could it be a little bit psychosomatic where they've seen the shows, they know the stories, they're staying in the room and they spook themselves? Or is it legit, a little of both?
I think it's a little of both. And actually, my favorite stories come from rooms that are not the more famously haunted rooms. Just because people check in there thinking they're safe, and then they have an experience. And to me, that just is a little bit more legitimate than when they know all the stories and then they have that exact same thing happen to them.
Right, right. All right, Callie, we do have another question for you in our chat room. The lovely and talented Rob is ready to ask it.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And Callie, I think the ghost of 401 actually wants to come out of the closet.
Oh, 401 coming out of the closet. How dare you offend Lord Dunraven?
But we have a question from Jay, and he wants to know, what do you think of Nick Groff of Ghost Adventures?
What do you think of Nick Groff of Ghost Adventures? Great question, Jay. Love it, love it. Callie?
First of all, who's asking that question?
I get a J.
Initial J.
One of our many loyal viewers. Both of them.
All I can say is wow.
Yeah, he is kind of dreamy, isn't he?
He is very dreamy.
He's totally dreamy. What
I kind of love me some Nick, that's for sure.
Ooh. Yeah.
No secret.
They filmed there over the summer, I know, and he said to say hello over the weekend. What a guy. Okay, so
and that
there's...
made my day.
Well, yeah, he's awesome. Hi, Nick. Here's the thing. Stanley, layers upon layers of legend here. You've got Rocky Mountain National Park. There's Bigfoot legends. You've got right outside, a lot of people don't even know about this, even though it's just maybe 20, 30 yards from some of the buildings, the pet cemetery. Right there at the outskirts. We have a photo of it. I believe there's about a dozen. I counted over the weekend. A dozen pets buried there. You can see them shortly. And there they are, some of the graves. The oldest grave I saw was 1974. Is that how long it's been there?
Yeah, approximately that amount of time. And ironically, that's also when Stephen King was there. Coincidence? I don't know.
He did another book which turned into a movie that sounded eerily familiar to Pet Sematary for sure. So,
exactly.
yeah, understood.
Yeah, it has not been there since the beginning of the hotel, as a lot of people think. So.
And who are these pets?
They belong to former managers, people who lived on property. Most of them are dogs. There's a few cats. But I don't know if it was you, but somebody was asking me this weekend, why did most of them only live to about 2 years old? I have no idea the answer to that question, just so you know. So.
Yeah, no, there was a lot that were definitely not very old. But you know what they say, sometimes death is better. Sorry, that's my best Maine accent. Callie, we are right up against the end of the show. But I want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing the stories of the Stanley Hotel, giving us kind of a quick tour as best we can from this remote location. It's an amazing place. The scenery is gorgeous. The hotel is gorgeous, and the stories are so rich. Callie, thanks for keeping the ghosts safe there at the Stanley Hotel, and we will definitely check back in with you at another time. If you get something good, send it to us. Promise? All right. Thank you. Folks, until next time, stay on. Woo.